Hi, my name is Jaffa, and have you noticed where I'm standing? This city is one of a kind. It's the only city where you can smoke weed, drink alcohol, and take magic mushrooms legally. It's the city that averages the tallest people in the world. It's also the most dense city in all of Europe. Now these are facts, but what about stereotypes? And more specifically, what are the stereotypes that the Dutch have on Americans? And we'll decide for ourselves that which is fact and which is stereotype. When it comes to like stereotypes, what are some of the stereotypes that the Dutch people have about Americans?
But the Americans, they're loud mouths, you know, they got a big mouth and they're loud. And
I think that if it's about Americans, that they're like loud and noisy and talk very like overreacting, but also nice too, not only bad things.
I think big things, everything's big, because of the commercials in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands are when they talk about Americans that everything's big. I don't know.
Like
yes,
everything's
everything, the cars, everything.
Yes, but just when you have a conversation with them, like, oh, okay.
Oh yes, so well.
The mighty question.
The mighty question, yes. That they think a lot of themselves. That's the big thing in my mind, that Americans do think a lot of themselves. They think they're better than everybody else. That's my biggest problem with Americans. Sorry about that, if I'm offending you as an American.
No, it's alright, I can take it,
Good.
When it comes to stereotypes, what are some of the stereotypes that the Dutch people have about Americans?
And I think they're just very individual. They're also very religious.
So what do you mean individual?
Yeah, well, like it costs Obama really a lot of efforts to get something like social health security pushed through. So people just want to be left alone on themselves and, well, a little bit look after yourself, and God looks after everybody.
Okay, so it's like everyone's out for themselves. There's no like, you have no backup. It's just like you're out there, out in the wilderness, you're trying to survive.
Yeah, like that, yeah. I think that's a little bit too black or white, but
okay.
Compared to other countries, most Western countries, I think America is a little bit more individual, yeah.
and another thing they really say a lot is they're fake.
They're fake?
Yeah, that's what they say.
What do you mean they're fake? In regards to what?
That's what the Dutch people say about, oh yeah, the Americans, they're always so fake, they're always smiling and so cheerful, and you're their best friends, and yeah, come into my house, you know. And I think it's just very nice way of being, but Dutch people perceive it as fake.
When it comes to like stereotypes, what are some of the stereotypes that the Dutch people have about Americans?
That Americans are a bit like fake.
They're fake?
Yes, they're fake because they are extremely polite, which in Holland they are not. so that actually, it can be like, hey, is it meant like that? You know, they're afraid that it's not
genuine.
Exactly, because in Holland they are in that way genuine, sometimes rude.
Politeness, I think Americans are very polite, very friendly.
Nice and open and welcoming.
Yeah. No, it's not nice people, and a friendliness that we don't know in Europe, a more maybe even naive friendliness, but it's from the heart, and we're not used to that in Europe.
Any other stereotypes that people have about Americans?
Also, I think they're intolerant on the whole. I think they are more intolerant than say we are. I don't know, it's just, as I say, it's just that I think that they do think they are better than everybody else, that's all. And I don't like that idea that you are. I think we're all the same, and we all should feel that we're no better than anyone else. But nobody's better than us, that's my motto in life. We're no better than anyone else, but nobody's better than us.
What are some of the stereotypes that the Dutch people have about Americans?
Well, I think they assume that Americans feel that everything's big big over there. So I should say that's a stereotype.
What do you mean big?
Well, you know, we have this impression that if Americans come to the Netherlands where everything is small, of course, that they compare and they think, you know, in America everything's bigger. And many things are big. It's a bigger country. And
so like bigger cars and bigger people.
Cars, yeah, exactly.
So what are some other stereotypes that the Dutch have about Americans?
Patriotic, religious, but yeah, speaking loud, religious, patriotic, you got a few there.
Any more traditions or things that you don't understand about American culture?
You keep on trying. Many people, or the idea that many people are obese, that's another thing.
Everything they eat is way more than the rest of the world eats. They're all fat.
They eat a lot of fast food or something.
Like burgers and pizza.
Yeah, man. That's they're fat and
Yeah, well, they eat a lot. they eat big portions. Is what I hear. I don't know from experience, but that's what I hear.
And what kind of food do they eat? Big portions.
Yeah, of course, hamburgers and pizzas.
Okay, so where'd you get these stereotypes from?
Well, people who've been there, television, magazines. Yeah.
So the people that have been there, they're like, oh my god, you gotta see these burgers, they're huge.
Yes, something like that, yes.
Are there any other stereotypes that you could think of?
Workaholic?
Workaholics?
Yes. Never take holidays.
They're really easy to manipulate. For example, in this case, Donald Trump for president. I know a lot of Dutch people who really have their question marks with that sort of stuff.
dumb and ignorant. You see there's these little things on YouTube or wherever TV, and then they interview an American and they go like, "Oh, do you know where Amsterdam is? Oh yeah, that's the capital of Germany." Or you know, they say things like this.
So you know their geological locations.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Be more specific, things on high schools and universities, the sorority things, the student life seems that they're really easy to have intercourse with other people. They're really not that hard to get into bed, and it doesn't really depend on if they're here or if you're in America. You know, they really want something, and that's a thing that's different. The fact that everything is really driven on cars and stuff. We do everything by bike, we walk a lot, and I think a lot of people think in America everything is automatic. Like the movie WALL-E, but in WALL-E everything is sort of automatic, and at a certain point we will just get carried around in seats and that kind of stuff. I think a lot of people think that will start in the United States.
That people like to have weapons as well, the idea that they can protect themselves, that's something we...
The Second Amendment is something that we don't understand at all.
What is this amendment they're talking about?
Well, we know what the content is, we just don't know why you would have it.
So where'd you get these stereotypes from?
I think most of it is from the internet, from Facebook, from specific groups which bring out a media which is really focused on the way people look at things. Obviously, I think it's a lot of media pressure we have. A lot of programs we watch sort of have the same things as well. Especially when you're young, we get a lot of American programs to start with. I think it starts really early, actually. Most of it through media. I think most of it through media. Yeah.
So where'd you guys get these stereotypes from?
With stereotypes, you know, there's often some truth, of course. So, of course, you come across Americans who confirm those kind of stereotypes. There are others who go against it. So, with Obama, you know, many perceptions have been killed. Because there was this idea that America is ruling the world, that they intervene wherever they want to, and things are changing. So, but that's not an answer to your question.
We're in the great land of Germany, home of some of the greatest beers in the world. This great land has over 1,200 breweries and